What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. Good evening. Welcome to your Manchester United preview for our game against Fulham tomorrow at Old Trafford. It's the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. It's time to try and get a chance to get back to Wembley, man. We've got to get back there.
How do you feel about semi-finals being at Wembley? Because it's a big bugbear of mine. Yeah, it's a real big bugbear of mine. Maybe we're too old school, you and I, Fleck. But back in the day, it used to be semi-finals were at Old Trafford, Villa Park, and you sort of had your sort of northern ground and your sort of Midlands or southern ground, and that's what they went to. And now it's semi-finals at Wembley. But that's thinking too far ahead, of course, isn't it? Tomorrow we've got to get the job done.
We have got to get the job done, but exactly, you are right, though. I do agree with you. Money. That's all it is. You know what I mean, as soon as Wembley was built, all of a sudden that changed. But yes, this is a big game. It's a big game. It's obviously away from the Premier League. There's pressure there. We can talk about that in a different show. This is the FA Cup, and this is against a Fulham side who are full of confidence. This is a Fulham side that are difficult to beat, difficult to play against. I know Arsenal went to the Cottage last week and absolutely smashed them with ease, 3-0.
With ease, yeah.
3-0 for half time, didn't get out of second gear. But this is kind of, a game that Fulham can put everything into. They are more than perfectly safe. They could even dream of getting into Europe. Why not? If they keep going, then the likes of Brighton, Brentford, etc., the outsiders, they're having great seasons and confidence is absolutely flowing. They will not be scared of us. They've got nothing to worry about in terms of if they do lose. This is the real talk of a free hit. And they've got the chance to send their fans, their club, to Wembley, which would be absolutely massive for Fulham Football Club. So, yes, this is, but for us, this is massive as well because our hunt, we spoke about it a little bit earlier in the video we've done about Erik ten Hag, but just in general, we want to get the double. We want to get the treble light, and if we want to win all these competitions, this is the next game. And the next game is always the most important game. We took care of business during the week to get through to the quarterfinals and now got our roadmap to a final in the Europa League. And now, obviously, depending on what happens, Manchester City are playing as we speak. We will see what happens in that game. And, there's a potential roadmap after that as well. Well, once we finish playing tomorrow, we'll see who we get. But would probably have to beat Man City to win this trophy. But what we do need to do is definitely... You never know.
Flex.
I said that in the South, Carabao Cup, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. And Southampton did the job there. These cup competitions.
It's at Etihad, though. It's at Etihad.
That's true. But sometimes these cup competitions, we've seen it with Arsenal in the week as well. With once you start getting to the business end of the season, which is where we're heading towards now, these clubs go, right, we're in a title race. We've got, in Man City's case, they've got the Champions League, a big Champions League tie. Maybe the FA Cup just takes a little bit of a step back because Pep thinks, got to win the league, got to win the Champions League. It's going to be tough. We've got Bayern Munich.
And just being that tired as well in general if we have to play them in the semi-final or final.
Exactly. So you got to, but ultimately what you got to do, you got to take care of your own games, your own opponents. And that's what we've got to do at Old Trafford. And you're right. For Fulham, I mean... Like you said, in terms of the league, they're fine. You could even argue maybe when it came to the Arsenal game, obviously Arsenal, fantastic team at the moment, but maybe already they've got to the point where Fulham, they're like, well, we've got kind of our fill this season. We've done what we needed to do. We're completely safe. Obviously, they could go a bit higher and they could possibly, like you said, qualify for maybe like the Europa Conference League or something this season. But really, all their eggs probably would be in the FA Cup basket. So they're going to be well and truly up for it tomorrow. And when it comes to United, the one thing I would say is we saw it against Betis on Thursday. We saw it against Southampton last Sunday. We even saw it when we beat Betis 4-1 at Old Trafford the prior Thursday, which is do look a little bit leggy, still look a bit tired, a bit fatigued. It was a weird one on Thursday against Real Betis, Flex, because we were chatting about this before, that actually, you know what? We won that game. For a large portion of it, we did not play particularly well, particularly in that first half. Second half, we sort of grabbed control of the game and we were better. But if we start like that, tomorrow, you might get punished.
I think when you get games like that where you're sort of 4-1 up and we don't consistently deal well with teams putting it on us. You know what I mean? Like really putting it on us. And because Betis did that, because they were, 3 goals down, we just really struggled with that. We really struggled with that. And I think even getting hold of it in the second half, I wouldn't even say we were that much better. I think just because the minutes were ticking by, more gaps appear. The game becomes a different game. That's not a normal game of football when you're 4-1 up from previously.
You could feel it in the stadium, couldn't you? Because the crowd, they were loud throughout, but then it got to like 55 minutes, and they sort of
starts fading. Yeah, because if is your heater on again or something? I heard a little.
No.
Oh, there was a little weird noise when you was talking there. Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Don't blame the heater. Heatgate, I have completely recovered from. Okay, never speak of it again. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not like you always get the receipts up when I do wrong things. They happen, mate. They happen. The Pizzagate, the Heatergate was a real thing. Pizzagate was a real thing too. But yes, just quickly on team news, Scott McTominay is a doubt as well because he said Ten Hag said that's why he didn't actually bring him on against Betis. He said he had some discomfort or some complaints, I think was the quote, one of the two of those.
Yeah,
Martial still not in. So clearly, I mean, I was speaking of that about off air, that there's clearly a big plan for Martial of you need to get a certain amount of training behind you before you're considered. And Anthony is a bit of a touch and go one as well. Said he could be against Fulham, but more likely, after the international break. And just in case anyone was thinking anything over the top with Christian Eriksen, there were some quotes obviously saying he has recovered well, faster than they thought. And he won't be ready now, but he should be ready in April. That could be the end of April, and actually, really, it probably should be with the type of injury he had and for how long he's been out for.
Yeah.
And now there's 2 weeks off though, where he can, probably get on the grass, do some slow training with the lads who stay behind, who didn't quite make it national duty, like Martial would as well. So we'll see. I don't think Anthony's going to go to Brazil. Or if he does, then it could be Anthony doing that Brazil thing that seems to keep happening.
I didn't want to bring it up. I
sorry,
did
Eric.
not want to.
Night nurse. Sorry.
I didn't want to bring it up, but I thought to myself the other day, actually, I thought, second time when it comes to this, international duties coming up. I'm feeling a bit under the weather. Or I'll tell you what,
if he goes, it's that.
There's a few eyebrows, isn't there? There's a few. And the thing is, I get that for the World. I get that for the World Cup, but these are qualifiers, are they not?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, actually, why?
So
why even are
these
they?
are European because England playing against Italy and someone else. So
for the
not Nations
European
League,
Championships.
it's Euro.
So what's Brazil doing?
Maybe they're just playing friendlies, or are they even getting called up? No, because the whole calendar stop is international. They're probably just playing.
Yeah, because Garnacho was going to be in the.
He was. Yeah, so
I'll have a look.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. I'll leave you to that. But basically to our midfield, that's the potential absentees, and obviously we know about Garnacho already. Interested in midfield, Sabitzer got some minutes against Betis. This is the first of Casemiro's 4-game suspension now that we're going to see him missing for 4 domestic games, which is a big issue for us. But it's looking like it's going to have to be just a friendly.
Just friendly against Morocco.
Wow. In Brazil.
Well, it's away, so I guess it would be in Morocco, but they might not be.
Yeah, it could be somewhere in Europe sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Hopefully it is in Europe, actually, so he ain't got to go bloody miles. But if he goes, I've seen Morocco. Morocco's not that far, is it? What's that, about 5 hours?
Still there,
But yeah, I mean, look, if he does go,
maybe he is actually ill. Yeah, let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly. Big up, Anthony. Exactly. Maybe he's actually ill, and the conspiracy theorists, i.e., us, are overthinking it. But we'll see. We'll see if he does go, or if he doesn't, then we'll get a better idea. But what I was saying, Owen, is our midfield. This is the first without Casemiro. McTominay potentially a doubt as well. If he didn't play against Betis and has been a bit touch and go, I can't see him just putting him in against Fulham if he's not there. So that already is Fred Sabitzer Bruno, because that's all we got.
That's it once again. And it was quite interesting in the press conference actually on Friday from Ten Hag, because he was bullish. He does not like people bringing up the Casemiro thing, because the journalist couldn't even finish the question. I haven't seen him do this many times. He only does this when he's annoyed by the question. And he went, obviously, first of 4 games without Casemiro, and straight away.
Yes, but we've done really well without him.
We've won games without them. We won games without him. I don't know what you're talking about. And then literally started naming. He went, but at the start of the season, we won games without him. And he went, played well against Arsenal. And it's like, Eric, but we lost that one. Played well against Leeds. Yeah, but Eric, we drew at home.
But do you know what though? I get why he does it, and I like that he does it, because it's us against the world.
Yeah, and
I've got my players. What message does it send to Sabitzer? If you're like, bloody hell, Casemiro's out, mate. We ain't got a chance.
the entire squad. If the entire squad has the mentality of Casemiro doesn't play, we lose, then
exactly.
they're going to lose
We're
the
in big
game, aren't
trouble.
they?
We're
So
in big
so of
trouble.
course he's trying to big trouble. So he's trying to get that across. So he was bullish with that. But you're right, Sabitzer and Fred, and look, they've played a couple of times together, Sabitzer and Fred, and there are gaps. The defense will be under pressure at points. I think it's fair to say tomorrow. That's my feeling, is that there are going to be gaps, but we don't have a choice. Sabitz is going to need to play games. He's missed the last couple of games, actually, hasn't he? When it comes to was he ill, or did he have a knock? I think it was a knock, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was out for a couple of games. Yeah, because he wasn't in training for a bit.
Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be those two, but we still have to get the job done. I still back them to get the job done, certainly. But of course, Casemiro's a miss, but it is what it is. When it comes to Martial, I'm not surprised he's not playing. I think that you touched on it, that there is this big, in-depth plan with him. And even you want to talk about conspiracies, I think it actually goes past the end of the season. I think if they're thinking about getting rid of Anthony Martial at the end of the season, to get rid of someone or to sell them, they have to be fit. Because we saw that last summer. We saw some players that probably would have left in the summer. They weren't available for a transfer in July and June because they were injured. So if Anthony Martial is out throughout the summer, he's not going anywhere. So they want to ensure that not only is he fit to play the remainder of the games this season, but also if they are looking to do business, then he's got to be available and pass a medical. So I would think that part of his recovery plan has been with this international break in mind. There's probably going to be some friendlies, behind the scenes games, something like that. And it will be maybe in those games that Anthony Martial competes 90 minutes for the first time this season. We are in March. We are in it's Saturday, the 18th of March. And still, he has not completed 90 minutes. And that will not be happening tomorrow. Maybe he'll do it in April, Flex. Who knows?
Exactly. And just a quick one on Fulham. They obviously have, in one big midfield absentee for us in Casemiro, they've got their big one back. Paulina. Paulina's been really, really good, to the point where people are, looking at him and saying, listen, he could play for a top 6 club. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He looks really good. And that's a big plus for them. And they've got Willian back as well, which, you could say, Willian, bloody, but he's done well for them this season. Been one of their main players. You've got Deckard over Reed, has been on the right-hand side doing well.
Andreas Pereira, he's been doing well as well.
Andreas Pereira, the return,
He was asked about him. He was asked about him in the press conference too, and he said, look, I knew him very well, had him at PSV in the academy.
I didn't know that.
And because he was in charge of the PSV Academy for a while, Ten Hag. And he mentioned a good point, not just about football, but a good life point. We said, look, sometimes you need to take a step backwards, take a step forwards. And that was the case when it came to him. Clearly, he needed to play games. There's nothing wrong. Fans on social media would do this. He's found his level. Don't praise him. He's found his level. So if you're saying Andreas Pereira's level is a mid-table Premier League club, that ain't a bad level. It's just not a Manchester United level. So he's done excellently this season, and he might have a point to prove maybe tomorrow as well. But, as we always say, if United play to the best of their abilities and their capabilities, then they should get the job done. They've had a taste of success, and like an addict, they should want more. They should want more. And to get more, they have to beat Fulham tomorrow.
Exactly. And Solomon as well, who's been doing really well for Fulham recently. He's been lively. So our point is, like Owen just said, they've got threats all over the pitch. And when you're playing against a team with no pressure on them and they can go and express themselves, it's very important that we are at tip-top condition and play with intensity and play well. I just worry, like you said there, about that midfield security, that midfield cohesion, that midfield relationship or lack of between that three. And lack of control of games that will probably give us, like you said, there will be times where we're going to have to defend a lot, I think, in transitions. But sometimes you never know how these games are going to go. You think that it's going to go really tight, really this, really that, and the game can open up from a mistake by them or whatever. But even in the Southampton game, if I'm being 100% honest, we were okay before the Casemiro red card, but we still wasn't in control of that game. It wasn't.
Won it.
Yeah, but that's absolutely, because of our track record of we would have gone in at 0-0, probably we get a half-time bollocking and we kind of up it.
And we were making some chances. Rashford got in behind a couple of times, and you did feel like we're a bit slow, a bit lethargic, but like you said, second half it'll come, or it'll come just before half-time, something like of that nature. And that might be the case tomorrow.
And that's what I'm saying. I think it will be tight like that. I don't think we blitz them. I don't think we 2-3-0. I think it's going to be tight. I do. 1-0, maybe. I think we win by 1 goal.
You're saying a 1-0?
Yeah, I'm saying we win by 1 goal, whether it's 2-1, 1-0, 3-2. I don't think we'll win by more than 1. I just think, I don't know. I just feel a little bit. We're not quite in the clicking mode at the minute. We're getting by. We are getting by. Rashford difference makeup 100%. We can defend well. Obviously, Martinez, Varane back in there should be cool. Wan-Bissaka, we can keep a clean sheet. Of course we can. Yeah. I just feel it's going to be tight.
I think back to the game at Craven Cottage earlier this season, and we won that game 2-1. Garnacho, well. last minute goal, and it was incredible. Last game for the World Cup, wasn't it? And it was tight, but I remember first half we actually played really well, and we should have been maybe like 2-0 up going into half time, or even more than that. And at second half they peppered us, and we were actually quite lucky to win that one 2-1 in the end. So I think, depending on if we get an early goal, we can settle ourselves down, and it could go to like a 3-1. I'm like you. I do think they'll get a goal. I'm going to go with a 2. No, I'm going to go with a 3-1. The only reason I'm going to say 3-1 is Fulham aren't the side under Marco Silva that they'll sit back and make it difficult. They'll play open football. So I think there'll be spaces for us. And I think there will be spaces for us to get in behind. So I'm going to go 3-1. But I think there are going to be points in the game. That'll be the final scoreline, but there'll be points in the game where we're like, oh, this is a bit close. This is closer than we thought.
I see.
And then coming out of it, we go, oh, it's 3-1 on paper. Looks comfortable. Maybe it doesn't tell the entire story.
Yeah, and hopefully, again, we always say we hope we're wrong. Well, I do hope we win by a couple of goals, but
I don't hope I'm wrong. I'm pretty right with that one.
Yeah,
3-1.
No, I mean in terms of like, hope it isn't tight, and we come out saying the scoreline does reflect it, and it's that was 3-0, easy. We thought that'd be that's what I mean by hope you're wrong. But yes, obviously we need to win. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and just quickly before we go, Owen, what would you do with team selection though at the top end of the pitch if Anthony's an absentee? Obviously, Sancho was on the bench. Pellistri got a start. Is it as routine as, of course, you go Rashford, Weghorst, Sancho? Or would you give Pellistri another start?
I start Pellistri again. I do. I go Rashford on the left, Bruno in the 10, Pellistri on the right, Weghorst up front. I tell you what, with Weghorst, man, like even some of them aren't his fault, but he finds it difficult to score goals, doesn't he?
Like left foot, when he's reaching left foot, hits the bar, hits the post.
Or one of them where it's like, like a ball comes in, it's a header. I mean, it's like that close to his head, and he's like a giant man as well. So hopefully he gets his goal tomorrow, because he does get chances, to be fair. But you can see why it's a 3 million emergency January loan, can't you?
Of course. And he's running his arse off. He's just
he puts the work in.
Exactly. Half the time he's just doing doggies. He's actually not involved that much. Occasionally, when the ball comes to him, he'll make it stick and set it. Do his job, win the foul. But essentially, he's not really involved that much in the game. But then there's chances that fall to him. They don't get dispatched. But he's doing everything he can.
And
that is why it is what it is.
Yeah,
there's no point even talking about it, because this is the guy who's come to actually even give it. Martial is still not ready to play. He's been Weghorst's been here since January the 31st, or the end of the window, sort of thing. So that shows you what it's like. So
exactly.
Okay, guys, let us know your predicted lineup. Let us know your score line as well, and we will see you tomorrow with all that match day content as per usual. Of course, take care. Peace.